Halo guys, kembali lagi di channel BadRush. Jadi hari ini kita akan lanjut lagi ya. Setelah kemarin kita mencoba game barunya Genshin, yaitu TCG, dan kita sudah bisa masuk ke mana ini? Ke Castle. Dulu kan nggak bisa. Setelah update ini akhirnya kita bisa masuk ke Castle, dan ternyata isinya emang arena untuk pertarungan TCG. Setelah kemarin kita nyoba dan berhasil jadi official TCG player, sekarang seperti yang udah kita jadwalin kemarin, kita akan langsung story questnya si Kazuha. Oke, so langsung aja kita buka ya, kita unlock, kita mainkan. Oke, kita mainkan biar kita juga bisa segera Archon quest ya. Oke, so langsung aja Acer Palmatum Chapter Act 1, let's go. Kemana ini? Ke Inazuma. Rumahnya si itu tuh di mana sih? Rumahnya si Kazuha. Dia emang orang Inazuma, tapi maksudnya dia tinggalnya di mana itu? Gua lupa anjir. Di daerah mana? Kalau kuburan temennya kan di dekat pantai-pantai itu guys, ya kan? Oke, langsung aja kita mulai. Story quest Kazuha. Saya nggak tahu apa hubungannya dengan Archon questnya. Cuma mungkin di Archon questnya ada Kazuha mungkin. Jadi kita tunggu aja besok, karena setelah ini beres, kalau nggak ada yang nabrak story quest lagi, langsung Archon quest aja guys. Gua takutnya nabrak Hinahida aja.
So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey. So, where should we go today?
Wait a moment.
What's up?
Oh, ini ntar kita dapat pedang guys, pedang baru.
Hey, what the heck was that for?
Dia bawa pedangnya anjir.
Doesn't want to talk, huh? Alright, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Anjir. Iya, ntar kita dapat pedang baru guys di Kazuha ini. Lumayan lah.
We're way behind
Anjir, kok
schedule.
nggak apa-apa? Kok nggak berkurang? Oh, emang ceritanya nggak berkurang.
So you don't have a vision after all. Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No,
Ntar kita dapat pedang
even when
itu
you've
ya.
got the right person,
Tapi warnanya
you
beda ya,
shouldn't go
keren
attacking
ini
them
anjir.
out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Have you ever
Yang
met
kita dapat
someone by the name
nggak
of Kaedahara
ada
Kazuha?
angin-anginnya, tapi nggak
He
ada,
carries a sword just
nggak
like
warna
you.
gini,
I've
warna
also
merah
heard that he
doang.
possesses an animo vision. That's none of
Kenapa
your
kamu cari dia?
business.
Oke, dia nyari
Never
Kazuha
mind.
guys.
You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha. Hey, don't be mean. I'm smart lots of the time. Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go fight Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
Oke.
Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other? Yeah, maybe a little. But then again, most people look pretty much the same once they start fighting, so that doesn't really prove anything. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Oke, kita temui Kazuha di Rito. Kita mulai Acer Palmatum Capture 1. Kita temui Kazuha di Rito ya. Let's go. La 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 Mana The Crux-nya nggak ada. Cuma kapal biasa aja.
Hey! Hello! Do you know where Kazuha is?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all.
Dia nyari Kazuha juga.
Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard
Pada
bits
penasaran
and pieces.
sama Kazuha
Something
juga,
about
ya.
him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense.
Iya, dia bisa
In
nahan
that case, his newfound stardom is well
si Raiden
deserved.
Shogun kan pas
He was called away earlier by some
conquest di
people from the Tenryou
Inazuma.
Commission.
Ada
They said they
scene-nya
had
guys,
something
tahan.
important to discuss with him.
Ada kekuatan temannya
I thought
juga
they'd
sih.
come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you! Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryou Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
Oke, kita ke Tenryou Commission. Masih cari info kemana Kazuha ya. Mungkin kita bisa tanya Kujo Sara. Apa di sini si Kazuha? Di kantor polisi. Oh iya. Nah, di sini dia.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaidahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaidahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaidahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In
I
short,
followed that.
there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional
Oke,
blade
jadi
forging arts of the Almighty Shogun.
keluarganya Kazuha
The
ini,
Kaidahara clan
ini ya,
belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these
Shogun ya,
bladesmiths
gitu lah.
revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaidahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil.
Oke, intinya
We later
terus
learned that the
ada
whole
Snezhnaya
misadventure had been
ganggu lah,
secretly
Fatui
orchestrated
itulah.
by the Fatui.
Ya kan?
Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaidahara clans was neither proper nor just.
Nah, terus
Considering Mr.
disalahin
Kaidahara
ke
has
klan
once more made an
Kaidahara sama
outstanding
klannya
contribution to
Kamisato
Inazuma,
gitu.
the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past.
Oke, terus
In the
dulunya
interest of preventing further harassment of the
dihukum-hukumin
bladesmith
lah
clans by the
gitu.
Fatui,
Tapi ternyata
we
itu
chose
semua
not to
kan
publicly
ulahnya
release the
Fatui.
findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
Iya,
This isn't
soalnya
true.
klannya Kaidahara tinggal
I am delighted to
Kazuha,
be in a
anjir.
position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaidahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaidaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaidahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaidahara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also,
Pada nggak
eyewitnesses
ini
saw
nggak
him
percaya
using the
kalau
power
bisa
of Electro in
di-parry sama
addition
si
to that of
Kazuha,
Anima.
senjatanya
As a result, the
Shogun.
falsehood that
Senjata
Kaedahara
Maki.
Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and
Iya.
Kazuha still looks fine.
Oh,
That is
yang
correct.
pegang tuh
However,
delusion
to
tuh,
some
bukan
people, the idea of a
vision.
single person wielding two
Dia
elements
kan
at once
nahannya
is a
pakai
more
delusion
inconceivable notion
temennya
still.
ternyata.
This is just one of many similar rumors.
Oh,
I am
kirain
very
vision
uncomfortable
temennya.
with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes!
Ya, ada
We
yang
nearly
nyari-nyari
forgot
ente.
about the most important thing.
Kita ceritain ada yang nyari dia.
Why
Yang
would
orang
such
tadi
a
ya.
dangerous individual be looking for me?
Apa kamu
No,
punya saudara? Oh,
this
nggak
puzzles
punya.
me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaidahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back. This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer. I will first join the traveler in investigating
Oke,
the one
kita
who
akan
attacked her, then
menginvestigasi
give you a
dulu.
conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Oke.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
Oke, kita cari dulu ya penjahatnya. Yang jelas
Detective agency knows the most about what goes on.
klan Kaidahara ya, klannya Kazuha ditawarin untuk balik
Let's
lagi,
see what Ryuji has to
untuk
say.
dibalikin lagi kehormatannya lah intinya. Balikin kehormatannya, disupport lagi, terus jadi klan terhormat lagi gitu. Gara-gara Fatui jadi semuanya ini aja. Oke, kita tanya sama detektif ya.
Hey there! We'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaidahara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him.
Iya,
To be
jadi
honest with you,
banyak yang
our
nyari dia
detective
nih.
agency has recently
Termasuk
been receiving
pembunuhnya
many
ini.
inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaedehara's personal information.
Pada
Some of them are
tanya-tanya,
offering us
pada kepo.
millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions?
Pada
Of
mau
more?
bayar pula.
Whoa! Oh, wait. Even at that price, you probably still shouldn't.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course.
Malah
No
terima
matter
kasih.
what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it. Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
That does make sense. Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere.
Berarti
Few
benar-benar
people
cuma
possess
nyari
your prowess
Kazuha
in battle.
doang gitu loh. Soalnya
So
nggak
unless you
ganggu
were the
yang
first
lain.
person
guys.
he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me. For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I can for you. Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. It doesn't involve an attack, though. Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more information we have, the better.
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them
dua
is a
orang
pretty
hilang
well-known
dalam waktu yang
collector,
bersamaan.
surnamed Nagato.
Yang hilang
The other,
Nagato
Amenoma Yuya, is a
sama
samurai from the
Amenoma
Amenoma
Yuya.
clan.
Oke.
Amenoma. Now there's a familiar name.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. Their cases are likely connected, but I don't know much in the way of details. I recalled this because Amenoma
jangan-jangan
Yuya is
Amenoma.
also an accomplished
Bisa
martial
jadi,
artist
guys.
who is skilled with the blade.
Iya kan, bisa
Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
jadi. Mungkin.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
Oke. Jadi ada 2 orang yang hilang, si keluarga Amenoma. Kemungkinan Amenoma itu yang nyerang kita tadi, guys.
If it isn't
Soalnya dia
Kaedehara
bisa
Kazuha,
pakai pedang gitu.
what brings you here today?
Huh? You two know each other?
Ya kan sama-sama blacksmith.
Yes,
Iya,
the
mungkin
Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden.
punya ini guys, punya
Historically,
dendam
there have always
pribadi
been
paling.
deep links between the 2 clans.
Mungkin
After I returned to
ini,
Inazuma, I
dia
visited
nggak
Mr.
suka
Amenoma to pay my
keluarga
respects.
Kaedehara mau di ini lagi apa?
Yes,
Mau diangkat lagi
you may
jadi
recall
keluarga
the story of
terhormat
the Raiden
mungkin
Gokaden from the
guys.
Iridori Festival.
Though all bladesmiths
Soalnya kan
trace their
mereka
craft
sama-sama
back to the
keluarga
same
blacksmith
source,
gitu loh.
over time,
Dan sama-sama bekerja
each of us
sama
has
si
arrived
Sokun
at a
gitu
different
loh.
blade-making
Dulunya, cuman
philosophy,
mungkin
spawning the
Itu.
development of
Takut
different
dapat
branches
saingan
of the
paling.
same art. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out. until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner.
Okay.
You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it, but I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryo Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift.
Mau ngasih
I
hadiah
believe he
katanya.
went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that.
Oh,
The next thing I
kembang
heard
api.
was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse. And neither of them came back.
Oh, fire.
Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some
Rare
kind of
weapon.
rare
Oh
weapon.
iya, yang dia pegang. Kayaknya
Otherwise,
Yuya tadi kasih
There would have been no
kita.
reason for him to
Fix
get
ini
my
lah.
hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What?
Tapi kayaknya kerasukan pedangnya itu,
Absolutely
guys.
impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person.
Kan tadi
He is
dibilang
humble and
Ishin
kind.
Art itu
Even his
pedang
training is done
memilih
with the goal of calming his
masternya,
mind.
bukan master memilih
He has never
pedangnya
gotten into
gitu.
a fight before.
Jadi kemungkinan pedangnya nolak
Is
tapi
that so?
Yes.
maksa gitu.
If there's
Makanya
one
dia
thing I can
kerasukan,
say
bisa
for
jadi, guys.
certain, it's that Yuya would never draw
Kalau
his
dipegang
blade
sama orang
without
yang
a
tepat,
very good
mungkin
reason.
pedangnya akan
But
ini akan
with
apa
that
namanya?
said, it's
akan
equally
nurut
out of
gitu.
character for him to just disappear with neither farewell nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Don't worry, you have our word.
Oke.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes, it sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
Oke, ke tempatnya Yoimiya. Kok kemana nih? Loh, kirain ke tempatnya Yoimiya, ke bapaknya Yoimiya. Nah, kemana ini kita? Nagato household. Kebakaran, coy. nggak normal-normal aja.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see.
Kita
I
dikira
thought the
debt
debt
collector
collectors
anjir.
had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful.
Sering beli-beli barang.
There were
gitu.
days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance.
Kayak kerasukan
I'm happy
gitu.
he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also
Kayaknya
don't know
suami
if he
Anda
had
emang
actually come to
kerasukan
his
ya.
senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Ame no Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse,
And both
and
men
both men
disappeared.
disappeared.
Oke.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down.
Kayaknya kebakar
Perhaps
gara-gara
he's too afraid
senjatanya
to come
juga sih
home
yang mau
now that all his collectibles have been lost
ditransaksikan
in the
keduanya
fire,
gitu guys.
and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together.
Hilang
As
sekarang
long as he's
dua-duanya.
willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument.
Sama-sama
This
kerasukan soalnya
situation is
anjir.
getting a little confusing.
Makanya yang satu
A
jadi
little
gampang marah,
confusing.
dua-duanya
More
marah,
like completely
terbakar.
mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery. and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Mana lagi kita?
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and, nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to
Tidak.
rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. It seems highly likely that we're missing a piece of the puzzle. Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up. The chances are that there are still some clues left for us to discover. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted
and
and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay, but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence.
Oke, kita ke warehouse-nya sekarang. Warehouse-nya di mana? Waduh, jauh juga. Oh, mereka itunya di sini kebakarannya. Kalau itu tadi rumahnya gitu ya.
Wait, I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
Oke, kita sampai.
So it's an underground warehouse.
The
Si
force
Kazuha
is
merasakan
definitely coming
ini ya.
from down below. The
Ada
source of the
musuh ya.
Tatarigami energy has long since
Ini
left
kayaknya
this
masuk ini
place.
guys, masuk domain
But
deh.
the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
Yang masuk Kazuha sendiri, anjir.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris.
Nggak
I
jadi.
can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them. Yes,
Sorry.
let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from. Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
Oke, kita merasakan ini ya. Oh, ini ya, follow the sand ya. Oke, kita merasakan kekuatan dari si Kazuha. Jadi kita tahu kita harus kemana. Ini energi-energi negatif, guys. Ada asap hitam gini ya.
From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here and seems to be dissipating slowly. Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
Kita cari clue lagi.
Whoa! Look at all those silly turtles! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Barbados, guide us. No touching.
It's...
Ugh! Look at this red stuff. What is it?
by the looks of it, a letter.
Oke,
Written on a
surat.
piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago. Well, let's take a look.
I'm Nagato. Oke. Aku melukai Amenumu Yuya. He took my mouse. Dia mengambil pedang berhargaku. Aku mengejar dia. Oh, I was wounded. Aku dilukai. Sorry, aku dilukai. Dia mengambil pedang berhargaku. Aku mengejar dia, tapi gak bisa kekejar. Aku istirahat di sini. Oke. Sambil kelelahan. Aku pikir aku akan mati di sini. Perutku penuh dengan darah. Tapi ada kekuatan aneh yang membuatku bertahan. Kenapa dia mencuri pedang itu? Aku pengen, I was going to sell it to him. Aku padahal pengen menjualnya ke dia. Dia bahkan membakar membakar ke gudangku. Oke. Sakit saya. Tapi oke. Beralasan aku nggak bisa mundur. Oke. Minta maaf sama istriku, sama keluarganya. Oke, mungkin aku sudah dikutuk oleh. Aku mengumpulkan banyak benda-benda aneh, but they want me, not one iota of not Singapore, but thank you for letting you down. Oke, jadi ini surat dari si Nagato. Jadi dia diserang sama Yuya, terus diambil pedangnya. Padahal pedang itu mau dijual ke Yuya itu, tapi Yuya malah ngelukai si Nagato lah ya.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya
tapi si
wanted to
Nagato
seize a
kemana gitu
blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
Masa udah mati?
So, where is he?
Masa
He was
mati,
not
guys?
only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami.
Oh,
Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us.
Wah, anjir,
Whatever
udah
traces
mati,
there may
anjir.
have been of his fate
What the
beyond
fuck?
after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right
Anjir,
now
terus
we need to
diserang-
uncover some more important
Ini
truths.
diserang,
If Amenoma Yuya
Apa
is
namanya,
attacking
guys?
other people indiscriminately, and the
diserang
longer we take to
Electro
find
di
him,
situ.
the more
Soalnya
people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Right, so let's get moving.
I wouldn't be surprised if he too fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami.
iya,
For a
soalnya
practitioner
ada
of the
kekuatan
martial arts,
Tatarigami tadi
the easiest
menarik
desire to
Gilipul
inflame
datang
would
ke
be
dia,
their pursuit
anjir.
of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate
Waduh, kalau
and
udah nggak ada,
disconnected.
kasihan istrinya anjir, udah
It
mana
seems that
banyak
now
utang,
we know the thread that runs
gudangnya
between
kebakar.
them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
Aduh, kok jatuh, anjay. Waduh, memang udah harus ganti keyboard kayaknya, guys. Ke pulau itu ya.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that
Oke,
the aura
sepertinya
may
kita akan
have
masuk
lingered here
domain
at
ini.
several different points in time.
Show yourself. It's no use hiding anymore.
Ini Amenoma Yuya.
Kaidehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Oh, nggak
So
masuk
it is
domain.
the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenome Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenome Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Ya kan, yang mempengaruhi itu senjatanya. Sebenarnya dua
Now
orang
that you mention it,
si Yuya
it
itu
is
tidak
giving
jahat
off
ya
a
sebenarnya,
strange light.
tapi kerasukan
Whoa,
aja.
whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then
Langsung
works to
hujan, anjir.
subtly
Lihat.
affect any living organisms in its vicinity. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting
Wih,
his state of
Langsung
mind,
hujan gini, pas
and more
banget tuh.
recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Amenoma Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many
Dipengaruhi oleh
years ago,
senjata
I
ini,
was
anjir.
forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaidehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, He achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work,
Keren
his
anjir
wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So, swords
Anjir,
can become conscious and control people?
intinya nggak
The
terima
people
lah
of
ya
the time in
pedangnya
which
ini.
I was born never
Pedangnya punya
believed I
perasaan
had that
anjir.
kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home.
Sampai
I
akhirnya
seek
dia
but
bisa
one
kembali
thing,
ke sini anjir.
to
What the
face
hell?
the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
So Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim.
Anjir banyak
Tell me,
juga
what
korbannya.
happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
Ya intinya pengen balas dendam ke Raiden Shogun lah. Kan Raiden Shogun yang bikin kabur sih ini. Oke. Kita lihat terus kita pakai senjata apa. Ya Allah, fillet blade anjir. Oke guys.
To me!
Time to
Mana
act.
hujan ya, pas banget anjir.
Rain Cutter. For Rex Lapis. Born of ice and frost. Accessed enough. Spring forth. Go as blast.
Mana ini? Oh. Kenapa sih?
One
Bam!
with nature.
Pakai fillet blade loh. Aduh tuh.
I'll rewrite history!
The wind knows me. Clouds high.
Birds come. Oke.
One with...
Alright. Langsung kita kalahkan guys.
Stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Kita
Lost.
kemana anjir?
I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here,
Kita sampai di
the one
sini.
who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a
Balik
puppet
lagi.
that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since
Bisa
the blade is
merasakan
currently
ini,
possessing Amenoma Yuya's
perasaan
body,
si
its movements
pemakai
express
pedang,
the innermost
si pemakai
thoughts
pedang
of the
Ishin
blade.
art.
If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Dia pengen
Are you
balik ke
trying to
Kazuha
claim that I am
biar
helpless
balas
without you?
ini
On
balas
his
yang bikin
deathbed, he
dia
passed to me
kan
all of
yang
Ishin
bikin
Art's
dia itu
secrets.
diusir
The
sama
little
Raiden
that you
Shogun
know
kan
barely
gitu.
scratches the
Pengen balas
surface.
dendam
In that
sama
regard, why
apa
would I
dengan
ever
kebunya
need
si
your
Kazuha
help?
gitu. Soalnya tinggal
Because
dia
all
kan
of that is
si
in the
keluarga
past.
Kaidahara gitu loh.
I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenoma Yuya and make your escape.
What of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about
Langsung
any
cerah
of this?
anjir,
I'm
gila.
just
Keren
one
banget
step
ya
away
timingnya.
from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony
Makin
between a
kelihatan
blade
deh
and
si
its bearer?
Celestia, guys.
Silence, you blabbering fool.
Silence.
Must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaidahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path.
Oke,
I do
apakah
not believe for a second that you can challenge the
Kazuha
almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my
Oke,
power
mau
will
dicoba.
more than convince you.
Mau
Once we have
dicoba sama
dealt with
Kazuha,
them,
ya.
we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Oke,
Do this, Kazuha!
jadi pedangnya mau membuktikan kalau dia masih kuat, masih bisa buat ngelawan si Raiden Shogun. Tapi si Kazuha, kamu itu udah lemah gara-gara kemarahanmu segala macem gitu loh. Tapi tetap ngeyel, ya udah kalau gitu cariin penantang. Kalau kalah hentikan ambisimu, tapi kalau menang oke. Gantinya si Kazuha bakal jadi pemilik pedangnya terus ngelawan si Raiden Shogun gitu.
This is the only way to save Amenoma
Okay.
Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet.
Oke,
The
tapi itu
cursed blade's
satu-satunya
strength is
cara untuk
currently very
nyelamatin Yuya
weak,
ya.
and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor.
Tinggal
The power
kalahin
of the
sekali lagi
Tatarigami
ya.
lies in intensifying
Tapi lawan
existing
siapa? Lawan
obsessions.
kita kah?
This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Aminome Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
Oke. Akan dicoba sama Kazuha. Apakah bisa dikontrol?
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute. Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takatsukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
Ah, all right. Please lead the way.
What about Aminoma Yuya? What should we do with him?
The blade says he'll let Aminoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
Oke. Si Kazuha bakal nyoba pedangnya. Dan apa namanya guys? Ini kayaknya di atas ya. Mending kita dari sini aja deh, daripada kita naik mending kita turun. Bakal dicoba sama Kazuha pedangnya, terus apa namanya? Akan dites. Kalau masih kuat ya udah kita akan lawan Shogun, tapi kalau udah nggak kuat, udah nggak ampuh lagi senjatanya, mending kamu menyerah dan apa namanya udah ikhlaskan apa namanya ambisi busukmu itu. Kan kita udah masa damai gitu loh ya, yang lalu ya udah biarkanlah berlalu gitu loh. Oke, terus ini gimana ini yang dilawan siapa? Oh, masuk ke domain kayaknya sekarang guys. Bentar, ambil ini dulu guys. Ini kok nggak bisa-bisa. Alah, kok nggak bisa sih? Nah, ini kalau ngambil gitu doang lama amat. Iya, kita masuk domain akhirnya. Let's go. Oh, ini secret base ini ya. Yang ini ya. Apa namanya guys? Kita pakai ya ini nggak apa-apa sih, aman-aman aja. Apa? Secret base-nya ini guys, yang dulu kita masukin pas story quest-nya Raiden Shogun yang kedua kalau nggak salah ya, yang kedua apa yang pertama gitu, pokoknya story quest-nya Raiden Shogun seingat gue. Jadi yuk langsung aja pakai ini doang. Oke. Senjatanya pakai, wah tapi warnanya gini ya, bukannya warnanya merah doang ya, apa ini karena level 90 ya guys, bisa jadi. Oke. Keren sih, jadi kelihatan merah. Oh, attack ternyata. Oke, keren baru. Alright.
Into the wind. The wind knows me.
Let's get down to business.
Into the wind.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night! There's more!
The wind knows me.
Okay, nice.
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me,
Oke, sepertinya
he's
sudah
instead trying to match my fighting rhythm.
mulai
keep
bisa
going.
dikendalikan sama Kazuha, jadi ntar mungkin nggak jadi marah. Oke, berapa serangan sih? Kamu lihat dulu guys. Oh 5 anjir, oke. Oke. Keren sih, apakah kita ngambil Kazuha ya? Keren anjir, meskipun cowok kan, keren sekali. Ini gue bakal ngambil Kazuha guys next time. Oke, dapat itu, jangan lupa ya kalau ada itu.
Let's get down to business. Time to go.
Into the wind.
To the ferry. Say no more. Let's get down to business.
One with nature. Clouds high.
The birds call. To the ferry. How's this?
Alright.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading
Lama-lama
away.
hilang anjir. Oh.
The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield. He cannot hold out much
Udah mulai
longer.
habis itu.
If he keeps persisting,
Apa?
he will likely break
Aura-auranya.
apart at any moment.
But what would that do to Amanome Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Tapi udah mulai memudar ya warnanya. Oke. Hati kalau ada peti guys, gua takutnya kelewatan anjay. Gak ada ya, oke. Next langsung. Harusnya petinya nggak disembunyikan secara susah. Like this, nah kelihatan ya. Harusnya.
The wind knows me.
That won't work.
Into the wind. The wind knows me.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
One with nature. The wind knows me.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight!
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere near as impressive as it did at the start.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
Warna aslinya merah nanti, guys.
What are you talking about? Huh? What the? Is this
Sudah
the
berhasil
same blade as
dijinakkan,
before?
anjir.
It looks like a piece of junk.
Jadi
If you choose to
rusak-rusak
continue
gitu,
in the
anjir.
state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly
Oh, anjir,
wield power
rusak-rusak
to
gitu,
rival the
anjir.
Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my
Keren,
bet.
anjir. Jadi kayak
You wanted to reach a state
habis
of
melatih
harmony
banyak
with me.
pertarungan gitu.
For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Here they are! Take them down!
Bu,
Where do they keep coming from? Yup, we can help this time.
Don't worry, I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
oke. Ganti pakai fillet blade.
One with nature.
Tapi tambahnya berapa persen? 35. Terpaut 6% sih, guys. Wah, anjir. Kok sakit?
Fine, into the wind.
End you!
Anjir, kena anjir. What the fuck?
As one with wind and cloud.
Cut down!
Oh, lagi.
Like
Anjir, sakit banget. Dikepuk.
You fought way better with your own sword.
you are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up
Ini
during
cuma
my
pedang
travels in
biasa.
Liyue.
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but
Cuma
they are
pedang
not
biasa.
everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years,
Fillet blade
and
cuma.
we have formed
Tapi
a
fillet
close
blade
bond during that
bintang
time.
3 bisa nahan
Plus,
serangannya
in the moment that I most
loh,
needed
guys.
it,
Bisa
I
nahan
received aid
serangannya
from
Raiden
another
Shogun.
power. Skill,
Pedang bintang 3.
blade, determination, and desire. All
Ini
these
cuma
must
pedang
be
biasa yang
aligned in the
kutemuin di
practice
Liyue.
of Ishin art.
Bukan pedang yang
There is something
istimewa.
else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Udah nggak apa-apa lah.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Itu ambisi
Where
itu
are you
ambisi
going,
dulu.
Kazuha?
Sekarang kan sudah tidak berperang lagi.
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
Oke, kita keluar dari domain ya. Gak dapet apa-apa nih. Kayak gitu peti. Gak ada ya guys. Sepertinya tidak ada, jadi ya sudahlah, kita langsung ngobrol sama Kazuha.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. But he never wished to rival the gods. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade of today.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
Shame it's too late now.
Yes. It is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
Oke, sudah tenang, jadi bisa kita tanyain.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my fortune like it was just yesterday. I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numbed the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Amenoma Yuya as promised.
Apa minta
My
apa dia?
physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder. What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Oh, dia minta
Let's hear
jadi
Thank you
senjatanya
all.
kayaknya.
When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in
Wah
battle
ya, mau jadi
and
senjatanya Kazuha.
experience a true duel between samurai.
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina and will to fight.
Oke,
I
udah
see.
sadar ya.
He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward.
Oke, dia
I do
mau.
not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryo Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention?
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
Oke, jadi Kazuha setuju. Jadi sekarang dia jadi pedangnya Kazuha plus dia minta dia kan diciptain katanya buat pertarungan gitu loh, tapi yang buat itu udah sakit-sakitan. Nah akhirnya sama sekali nggak dipakai. Nah sekarang dia minta Kazuha jadi pemiliknya, terus dikasih battle lah, diwujudkan battle-nya gitu loh, biar ngelegani lah kalau bahasa Jawanya, ngelegani tujuan dia dibuat gitu. Nah terus akhirnya Amenoma Yuya disadarkan, terus kita ceritain, terus kalau emang itu bisa bikin tidak ada korban lagi ke depannya, ya udah yuk Amenoma Yuya mau untuk battle as a samurai melawan siapa itu namanya, Kazuha. Nah, oke,
This
let's
reminds
go.
Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash. Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even now, Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything. Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him. Are you ready?
Ready?
Oke.
Okay. All right then. Successor of Ishin art,
Anjir,
Kaidahara Kazuha.
tetap keren anjir.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to
Okay.
cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
Alright, pertarungan antar dua ini ya. Dua,
One with nature.
antar dua apa namanya, wih keren anjir, meskipun tapi kan jadi kelihatan kayak apa ini bekas pertarungan itu loh, apa namanya guys, ini kayak cuma dibalik doang ya, masa goresannya sama depan sama belakang. Tapi kelihatan keren, kelihatan kayak habis dipakai berperang gitu. Wah anjir kok attack persennya 0, what the fuck. What the fuck. Apa ini? When a normal charge or plunging attack. Oh, oke.
Into the wind. One with nature. The wind knows me. Time to go.
Kok gagal lu kejauhan guys, gak bisa. Oh lah, nggak tahu areanya. Oke kita
This
skip.
reminds Paimon a bit of the. Yep, we still can still. Are
Anjir.
you ready?
Oke,
Ready?
let's go.
Okay. Successor.
Sorry, guys.
Successor,
Honored to cross.
it is my honor.
Lah nggak ada areanya. Oh ada ding, coba lihat. Sorry. Oke, kita ulang. Gara-gara mau ngambilin apa?
Into the wind.
Gara-gara mau ngambil kes apa? Kupu-kupu.
One with nature.
Keras juga.
The wind knows me. Clouds high. The birds call. Into the wind. The wind knows me.
Alright.
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken. In your hands, it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away. But that same sense of determination remains strong.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and
Anjir,
narrow path,
kerasukan
but the
toh.
Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
Wih, penerus Amenoma.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy.
Ya Allah,
Maybe
banyak
we
mau
can
ya
go
ini
back
ya.
there together.
What does he want to
Banyak
go
mau
there for?
anjir.
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Banyak mau sih pedang ini ya. Oke, kita kembali ke sini. Mengulangi pertarungan gara-gara pengen ngambil kupu-kupu anjir. Oke, ini mungkin akan mengakhiri semuanya. Jadi gua nggak tahu apa hubungannya dengan siapa? Dengan Scaramouche.
It's Yuya!
Mungkin
You have
anu,
returned!
mungkin
I'm
ada
sorry to
Kazuha
have
di
troubled you.
dalamnya paling.
It's all thanks to
Ya,
them that
kita
I was
lihat
able
aja
to
besok,
return
oke?
safely.
A
Kita
prized
ceritain.
Ishin blade. Turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton Sango Detective
Oh,
Agency
nemu.
tells
Mr.
me that
Nagato
they
nggak
found
mati.
the missing Mr. Nagato.
Wah,
Really? Is he okay?
Yes, badly wounded, but he will live.
anjir, kirain
And now
mati
that Yuya
diserang
is back,
Hilichurl, anjir.
It seems
Nggak,
like the
ternyata masih
final
hidup.
ending to this story
Untung lah.
is a happy one after all.
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body for anything nefarious. I have decided to let him do it.
But he... Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later.
Oke, mau ngerasuki lagi?
I am ready.
Mau ngapain nih?
Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
Sin anjir, kemasukan Tatarigami
Power is
anjir.
almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes, the cost is my entire consciousness.
Kenapa, Cuk? Oh, diasah lagi. Mengasah dirinya sendiri anjir.
You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come.
Wah, tapi
Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still
fulfill
his
his
final
final wish. Wah, tapi hilang ya.
son of the Kaedehara clan. Over
Goodbye.
the years, my real name has been forgotten by all.
Oh, siapa nama aslinya?
I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind.
Siapa namanya anjir?
Kagotsurube Ishin
Oh, Kagotsurube Ishin.
is now yours to keep.
Kagotsurube
Rest in
Ishin.
peace.
Rest in peace, Kagotsurube Ishin. Wah, tapi padahal keren yang sobek-sobek tadi, guys. Kayak gimana ya? Kayak bekas pertarungan aja keren.
That's
Ini
why
kan
he
jadi
said
baru
it had
lagi.
to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Ya sudah.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions,
Dia nggak setuju sama apa yang
and
dilakukan.
thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his
Tapi
consciousness
mau
faded,
gimana
was
pun
he
tetap
willing
bakal
to
hilang
entrust
sih
it to another.
consciousness-nya,
Seems
kesadarannya
like he
gitu. Jadi
really wanted to
ya udah
fulfill
dia
his
bikin
maker's wish.
ya demi memenuhi
The same fervent
harapan
ambition that gave him the
pembuatnya gitu.
motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha.
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Wait, shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Oke. Ending ya, kita ke tempatnya si Ucho lagi untuk menerima tawarannya. Kayaknya bakal diterima sih tawarannya untuk balik ke Inazuma, atau malah nggak diterima. Dia mau berpetualang sama kita. Bisa jadi nggak diterima.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation indeed, we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanome Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue
kayaknya nggak
walking my
diterima
own
ya guys
path.
ya. Jadi
Very well.
dia akan tetap
I can
jalan-jalan.
understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However,
Dia
if you should ever
menolak,
change your mind
dia
or
tetap
find
pengen
yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance, please
journey
do
lah,
not hesitate to inform me.
Great.
Nggak tinggal di
Thank you for
Inazuma
your
gitu
generosity.
guys.
Where will
Nggak
you travel to
jadi
next, Kazuha?
nggak jadi keluarga ini lagi, bladesmith lagi.
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Oke, beres. Oke, jadi seperti itu guys untuk story questnya Kazuha sudah beres. Kita dapat pedang baru
You
ya.
must have a whole bunch of questions after our last conversation with Nahida. I'm always ready to ask her a million more questions,
Dapat
but
Kakutsurubi
didn't want to seem
Ishin.
too pushy. Like, about these descenders. So,
Oke, langsung
does that
dilanjut
just
ke
mean
Archon Quest
people
ya.
like you who come traveling to Teyvat from someplace else?
Besar kemungkinan ya kita bakal
as for
ketemu
your
sama si
brother,
Kazuha gitu. Tapi gue takutnya
So
nabrak
many
Nahida.
questions.
Tapi ya
Let's
mudah-mudahan
go
nggak
find
nabrak ya.
Nahida and see what else we can find out.
Mudah-mudahan nggak ada hubungannya sama apa namanya story questnya Nahida, jadi biar nggak tabrakan gitu. Tapi yang jelas sekarang sudah bisa dikerjain. Tapi if apa namanya sekiranya ternyata harus nabrak ke story questnya antara orang-orang Sumeru ini, ya sudah, mungkin akan kita akhiri dulu Archon questnya, terus besoknya kita akan kerjain story quest sampai beres. Terus habis itu balik lagi ke Archon Quest gitu aja lah ya. Tapi mudah-mudahan nggak tabrakan. Jadi biar Archon Questnya enak, Archon Questnya beres, story questnya juga beres gitu. Jadi nggak loncat-loncat gitu lah guys. Biar guanya juga enak, kaliannya juga enak untuk melihat ceritanya sama memahami ceritanya. Oke, jadi besar kemungkinan mungkin ada Kazuha, cuman gua nggak tahu apa hubungannya, soalnya kita nggak ketemu Wanderer, nggak ketemu orang-orang Sumeru, cuma ketemu sama si Kazuha. Jadi bisa kemungkinan Kazuha ke Sumeru. So, ya kita lihat aja besok, oke? So, besok kita akan Archon Quest. Dan hari ini sampai di sini aja, jadi seperti itu cerita story questnya si Kazuha. Dan kita dapat pedang baru. Dapat pedang baru. Gak usah diganti sih, ini buat entah siapa nanti. Wih. Tapi tetap keren yang sobek-sobek sih guys, kalau menurut gua dari ininya ya. Tapi ini juga udah keren sih. Oke. So, thank you guys buat yang udah nonton, like dan subscribe, yang udah share dan komen juga. Besok akan kita lanjutkan lagi ceritanya. So, have a good day. Bye bye.